What up, world? Hemingway checking in. And before we go any further, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page, ring the notification bell so you'll get all those notifications for my videos I have coming later this week. And without further ado, let's get into this thing. So it looks like the OG Lil Wayne is being talked about in the news for multiple reasons. So as you know, Weezy is currently on the Carter tour, and I think this is being marketed as like his last and final tour, but unfortunately he canceled his final date on the tour. He canceled the show just mid-show. Apparently the crowd wasn't giving him the energy he felt he deserved as a GOAT, you know what I'm saying? So he ended up coming out on stage as one of his artists was performing. He basically said, hey, listen, bro, like cut the mic, cut the music, DJ, stop all that. We're not doing this. They not, you know what I'm saying, they ain't really giving me what, you know, we supposed to be getting here. Like, we out. So I just wanted to come and say that, first and foremost, this is a safe space. I too have experienced Lil Wayne canceling the show or stopping the show mid-show and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here? Like, what happened? But in my situation, it was 2007, right before that 07 Wayne kicked off that crazy feature run, and it was the sound man fault in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I don't know who did the sound that show, but Wayne wasn't happy about it. So he canceled the show, left the stage. He did end up coming back and finishing the show at that time. And in that situation, I still end up getting the win. But as the legendary Lil Wayne he is now in 2023, I don't know. My mans was like, yeah, we pulling the plug on this. Now, on the most recent episode of All the Smoke, it looks like Wayne swung through, chopped it up with the guys, and they asked him about all the controversy about Morant and what I've dubbed the Morant madness, whatever he got going on right now. So Steven Jackson asked him about what he felt about Morant's situation, and Wayne responded telling a story about how he was actually in the studio with some of his artists, which are younger, and some of his friends, and he asked them, like, what's the necessity of like brandishing your weapon and putting all your moves online, and then he followed up by saying they didn't really have an answer for him, but he explained the only reason he could see doing that is to really like explain or let people know, like, y'all don't really know what I do outside of my job, for a lack of better words, and y'all don't know what life is like for me outside of my job. But he was thinking to himself, like, why would you do something like that, and really trying to put himself in their shoes. I'm listening to him talk, and then the guys get to talking about how they don't know if they would have made it if there was social media when they was coming up. And I got to thinking, like, man, it's crazy because, Wayne is an 80s baby. I'm a 90s baby. Morant is actually he was born in 2000s, like literally 2000, 2001, something like that. Wayne, of course, was already a superstar since he was like 15. But by the time 05, between 04 and 05 came around, he was already well established as an artist. Me, I'm just a little kid, in South Carolina, in the Myrtle Beach area. I'm in middle school at that time, middle school, 8th grade, going into 9th grade, something like that. And I remember when social media just started. So as other 90s babies out there, we grew up with it. 80s babies too, but they were a little older, so the era and what they were experiencing in life was a little different. But for me, I was right in the middle of like coming out of middle school, going into high school. And I could only imagine from then to when Morant was a freshman in high school, how social media has changed. I mean, from me being 15, when I was 15, when it started in 04, 05, to by the time I was 25 in 2015, like 2014, 2015, man, it was completely different 10 years later. Around that time was probably when he was entering high school, and to grow up with social media in the place it was from over the last 6 to 7 years, that's way different from when it started when I was in high school, because it was just beginning. It wasn't really a part of everybody's life like that. Now, Wayne being a superstar and a legend himself, he's honestly the perfect person to talk about having, being a superstar, having a crazy ego, and probably not making the best decisions in the middle of doing his job, you know? He also talked about how like it's really hard for the message to get through to the superstar, the breadwinner, when you have all your people around you. He referred to like your 12 jurors, you know, basically your friends and family around you. They all gonna be on your side at that point. They gonna be, you know, it's hard for the message to get through. And in times like this, when everybody talking about you, that's usually when, at least for Wayne, he was like, that's when my camp makes sure they absolutely keep it away from me, because I don't want to hear that. And he made the reference of like, you know, I wish somebody would say something to me. Like I'm the, you know, I'm the one, I'm the ticket. Like who gonna say what to me? I think that's some of the stuff that like Ja Morant's going through right now. But again, I don't know his whole friend circle, and I don't know exactly, you know, what how his family is familying at this point. And I would never speak on that in any type of negative way. But I will say right now, you know, that's usually how it works. Like they stand, even if it's in the not the best times, that's when your people's gonna kind of stand up for you and block you from all the backlash from whatever's going on, even if it was a bad decision. He made a good point referencing like we don't really know what Ja Morant's going through outside of his day job. And people do say this. We say, oh yeah, everybody's talking about how he's not street and how he grew up this, that, and the third. And we don't know what he's going through. And we don't know who he's dealing with, what he's dealing with. But I will say there's still better ways to handle it. However, you can't tell a grown man how to be a grown man. That's just what it is. And like I said in the last video, though he's a young man, he's still a grown man, and he's gotta make his own decisions, man. So what y'all think, man? Like, I mean, I don't know if it's the hip-hop influence, the social media influence. Like, social media that came a long way. I'm from the AOL Messenger era. Like, if y'all know anything about the AOL era, y'all drop something in the comments. Like, it's came a long way, and it has a crazy influence now. But is it the music? Is it society? Is it social media? Is it all of it? Or, you know, is it really the family and friend structure in which a person grows up around? You know, who they got around them. You know, I go with the latter always, but y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put some in the comments. Who would have thought Wayne would have actually, you know, in a time like this, Wayne come through with some somewhat sensible statement, you know, just kind of with the questions like, we don't know what that man going through, you know, we have no idea what that man going through. And he right. But anyway, I go by the name of Hemingway, and until next time, I'm out of here.